You're with the Break-a-Leggers, and we're in the Midlands in Wolverhampton at the Grand Theatre
to see the musical Crazy for You.
So stay tuned to find out how many legs for this touring production.
Whether it's break a leg or leg it.
Before you amazing people go any further,
To make sure you've got your fingers on the theatrical pulses,
for honest theatre reviews, news and interviews,
just hit the subscribe button now.
hit the subscribe button now. If you've seen this production, comment below, join our Lega theatre community and let us know about the theatre you are passionate about.
Yeah,
So,
this has already been out on the road, so it may have hit a town near to you. It's got a few stops left, and you'll find a bit more information about that down in the description. If you don't know the musical, it's music and lyrics by George and Ira Gershwin, with a book by Ken Ludwig. Now, the original production was in 1992,
Right.
and it's largely based on the 1930 Gershwin musical Girl Crazy, but it incorporates songs from several other productions that the duo have written. Many of the songs in this production were also in
An American in Paris.
Yes, an American
Dominion Theatre
in
that we saw.
Paris,
just-
including the standards. I got rhythm and no, they can't take that away from me.
Right, so a number of their Gershwin's famous songs kind of rehashed into another show?
Yeah, put into a
Ish.
sort of another storyline and used to dramatic musical effect.
Okay.
Story itself is about Bobby, a frustrated Broadway hoofer who is tasked to close down a failing theatre, but when he falls in love with the proprietor's daughter, he starts a plan to save the theatre instead.
Okay, I don't know this at all actually. I have heard a number of the songs. The only thing I know about this is cast-wise, Claire Sweeney.
Yeah, Claire Sweeney, kind of a British stalwart now of stage and screen. She started off in the long forgotten maybe, but past Channel 4 soap opera Brookside.
Yes, she did.
Before heading into musical theatre. I mean, she was trained as an actress and a singer. I saw her in Tell Me on a Sunday a few years ago, but she's also been in Hairspray, Legally Blonde, loads and loads of stuff.
Chicago she did as well.
Yes, she
All
did.
sorts.
Also in the cast is the Olivier Award nominated Tom Chambers. He got his Olivier nominee for
Top Hat.
He did, yeah, kind of a similar vein, I think, to
Yeah,
this.
kind of
Yeah.
dancing.
Bit of this.
And
And also Charlotte Wakefield is in this cast as Polly. She was in the original cast of Spring Awakening as Vendler, and she got an Olivier nominee for that.
okay, awesome. I believe it's 2 acts.
It is, so we'll be catching up again with you.
Very shortly, before I get blinded by the sunlight, we'll catch you
fine.
up in the interval for our interval breakdown, and at the end to tell you how many legs. So we've come to the interval of Crazy for You, which is on tour here at the Wolverhampton Grand, which means it is time for the Break-a-Leggers 30-second interval breakdown. Go! What do you think so far?
Yeah, it's nice, it's charming, the production numbers are really well staged and performed with a lot of enthusiasm. Actor musicians, which I like a lot. Story in between meanders a little bit. What about you?
Yeah, I guess headlines, very talented cast, just the fact that they can sing, they can dance, they can manoeuvre and manhandle instruments at the same time is a pretty impressive feat and really nice to watch. Manhandle. Let's see what the second act brings, I guess.
We've come to the end of Crazy for You here at the Wolverhampton Grand, so I suppose I'd better start asking what you thought about it.
I think that the music is really quite classy. Having a ensemble that actually also plays instruments means that you get a full rich sound. I counted about 13 or 14 people playing instruments, so you don't lose any of the sound, like every instrument from strings, flutes, everything, and it's lovely, just lovely rich sound. Really nice stuff, first of all.
Yes.
I think that's a big plus for this piece. Just any kind of actor-musician piece, you're instantly in awe of how it's orchestrated,
And the-
not just orchestrations, but
And
just
the
the
level
logistics.
of talent as well that
Yeah,
those people
talent,
have,
logistics, everything like that.
to do just one of those things. I mean, with triple threat is a sort of term that is bounded around, but actually it's quad threat nowadays.
Nowadays it's a quad threat.
Singing, acting, dancing, and playing an instrument, and more productions are employing it. And do you know what? I think it gives a whole other level to a production, which is very welcome.
So even kind of if it's not that these was, but even if you kind of start to think, oh, a bit meh, you're actually intrigued. You're quite interested in what's going on. You're like, who's playing that instrument now? Because they're instrument swapping from time to. Well, I noticed the bass, for example, and the xylophone were used by multiple people. So you're just always intrigued in seeing who's playing what, and you get to see the expression that's being put into, for example, the strings. Usually when an orchestra is in the pit, you don't get to see them. All you get to see is probably the odd hand and the conductor, but it's great to actually see the instruments and see the expression that's been put into the musical numbers. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree.
Degree. Let's do a degree.
Let's do a degree in musical theatre.
You'd wholeheartedly agree. And what do you think?
I think it's a great directorial choice. You know, I think that the director of this piece, whose name I'm frantically looking for,
I want to say it's a Paul. Paul something.
Should we
see if I'm...
Paul Hart. Well done. Yeah, Paul Hart has made a great choice there. There are some other aspects of the production that unfortunately I don't feel that the director has done a great job on, and characterization is a big thing. The weakest part of this piece for me is the essence of the plot that has been employed to get us from one great production number to another great production number, and there isn't enough emphasis on story. Now I understand that's the book, but I don't feel that the director has managed to draw out of the book what is actually in there, but hasn't come across to an audience.
Would you say it's the director's fault, or would you say that's the book's fault? Where's the fault lay?
I don't like to lay blame. I'm not pointing any fingers, but I think you can have a bit of a duff, a bit of a turkey of a book, and you can still find the plot points and hit them. I felt that this just was a bit loose, and the whole thing just felt a little bit loose.
I thought it was a bit loose, but I don't put it in the director's hand. I thought the director did all he could do with it. I just don't think it's a great book, or I think the book is just kind of dated. It is very much of the period and the style, which personally for me, I just want a bit more.
The book is only 1992.
Well, it's
not that old.
But it's still in the style of a
1930s musical.
It's kind of got all those kind of key plot points.
I didn't hate that stylistic choice. For me, I like the glamour of the era. It harps back to a certain time period where everything was a bit, I want to say a little bit more naive, but to be honest with you, the objectification of women in this, I was really surprised by, I think by today's standards,
it does make you cringe a bit.
It wouldn't hold up. You wouldn't be able to argue the absolute objectifying of women and the female form and the sort of being looked at, and that's about it, and that's all women are worth. None of it, that is a 1930s thing, but as a period piece, it worked here. But by looking at it in today's eyes, I think, that's a bit dodgy.
So let's move on to characters, people, performers. That's the word I was looking for. Performers.
Yeah.
In the lead, we had Mr.
Tom Chambers playing the role of Bobby Child.
What do you make of Tom?
He was a bit of a man-child, actually. Now I've looked at his surname, he does play it like a bit of a man-child, doesn't he? He's sort of the spoilt brattiness, hasn't really grown up, a little bit of a doofus. And do you know what? He played that with some verve. You had problems with the characterisation, right?
I think he's a very talented dancer. He's very smooth. He's got a voice as well. He looks very chiseled and like a leading man.
Yeah, proper matinee idol about him, isn't there?
Yeah, there's just something in the actual character he played in this, and I'm not sure if it's him or how it was directed, so I'm not sure where this is. But there was something almost melodramatic when he was his main character, and over-the-top clowning, and almost Norman Wisdom in just his fumbling and bumbling, which I didn't like, which then detracted it. He wasn't grounded for me, so then I wasn't buying into wanting to follow this character and on his side, because I was just thinking, you're just over the top and you're just a big man-child. You're just a big child. And we've seen other pieces, like I'm thinking of American in Paris.
It's hard to not draw parallels between this and that.
Where there are love leads who are kind of this kind of fumbling fool who do things crazy because they're in love, but they're not stupid and clowning, you know, they are still grounded, but they're
still believable people.
Through reality, they're believable, whereas this was just too over the top for me.
And how about Irene Roth, the character played by Claire Sweeney?
Very small part.
Yeah, it is a very small part.
She punches it. She's great.
does.
She owns the stage.
Yeah, she
great
does.
vocal. Gets her legs out.
Yeah,
gets some
she's
high
got a
kicks in
fantastic
there.
figure. I mean, and for a woman that's, you know, at the side of 40, you're looking fabulous, Claire. Feisty.
Yeah, I thought she was great.
Yeah. Also, I know you were a fan of Charlotte Wakefield in the role of Polly Baker.
She's got a fantastic voice. Brilliant vocals, really owns it. She was grounded as a performer. I really bought into what she was doing.
There's a bit of a Calamity Jane about her. There's a bit of a strong woman in the South sort ofness about her. A kind of an independence which was refreshing to see in a piece set at a time where women were just looked upon, and that was it, and they were meant to be seen and not heard. I felt that she'd got a bit of feminism about her, a bit of balls. I liked that in her characterisation.
Yeah, also some nice movement as well. There was quite a lot of her as a leading lady to be dancing and jumping around. I thought she balanced the two very well. Anybody else that stood out for you?
No.
No, just generally in terms of the ensemble and the cast.
I mean, the fact that what they do,
it's like
an absolute major achievement. It would be unfair when the ensemble are expected to sing, dance, act, and play an instrument to single any one of them out, because they're all extremely talented in that department.
Yes, and all playing multiple parts. They're never off. They're pretty much on stage all the time. You can't leave.
Yeah.
You can't. Seriously, I'm amazed just at the logistical nightmare of how do you move the instruments around, how do you choreograph numbers, how do you learn what you're singing, how do you learn your part, how do you learn your musical part. Like, there's so much to learn in terms of a piece like this when it's demanding so much.
And I think if you're looking to direct a piece that has those elements, I think you do well to see this, to see how it can be achieved. I'd imagine it's a daunting task, but they do this with such professionalism.
What do you think of lighting and sets?
Yeah, I thought they worked beautifully together. There was some really lovely moments of lighting, sort of transforming the stage. The set itself is simple. It's one state throughout, set by Diego Pitarch. But you know what? Again, I've talked about love letters to the theatre before. It's really nice. I love pieces of theatre that's set in a theatre, and this is set in a theatre. And to sort of see that hustle and bustle of the backstage area and the getting ready for a showness about it, I think of an audience point of view, when you just expect to see a show and be entered into that world, it's quite intriguing. I really liked the set.
Yeah, simple set, but really nice, elegant, nice. Elegant.
Well.
If it could speak, I'm sure it'd speak very well. But yeah, it was really nice touches. Very classy.
Yeah.
So I guess you're probably wondering how many legs we are going to give Crazy For You, which is out on tour.
For the UK tour of Crazy For You, we are going to give 4
legs.
Yeah, I think as a regional piece of theatre that's hitting local towns, to see a cast that have this much talent and to throw all that energy out into the space, you're going to have a toe-tapping, enjoyable evening.
Yes, full of energy, full of talent.
Yeah.
The songs you'll recognise and you'll know.
Songs you know and love. There are even some songs that actually aren't songs in it, are just Gershwin pieces. They're just pieces of music. I heard Stairway to Paradise, for example. It's not a song in this.
Rhapsody in Blue.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
those
nice
Gershwin
touches.
numbers are there throughout, are in the underscoring. They're sort of bubbling below the surface. And as a result, you'll be like, oh, I remember this. I'm having a great time.
So a really nice, interesting pice of theatre. I would recommend it personally.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, that's just what we thought.
Just what we thought. What did you think?
Yeah, have you caught this maybe, I don't know, in your local town? Let us know in the comments below.
Yes, we are the Breaker Leggers, and we'll catch you again soon.
We will. Bye.
Bye.